Hello everyone and welcome to B2B Purchase webinar on 2021 Innovations in Crushing and Screening Technology. As we enter the second quarter of 2021, the road construction sector is trying to regain its momentum and lost growth. Also, mining is gaining momentum in the country. When we talk about faster construction of roads and highways, the role played by crushing and screening plants cannot be neglected, and these plants also provide higher mobility, fuel efficiency, ease of maintenance, and more productivity. In recent times, we have also witnessed a rise in technologies such as artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, predictive maintenance, etc. And it will be interesting to note how digitization will pave the way for new innovations in crushing and screening sector. Today, our respected speakers will give an insight on innovations in crushing and screening technology. We are sure it's going to be very informative and useful for our attendees. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and privilege for me to introduce you today's distinguished speakers, Mr. J. Basilil Manoa, Associate General Manager, Mechanical, Patel Infrastructure Limited, Mr. Jayanta Pradhan, Vice President Service, Propel Industries, Mr. Shantanu Banerjee, Country Head, HESMAC, All Mineral India Private Limited, and Mr. Anubhav Chandra, Manager Sales, RD Infra Equipments Private Limited. So delegates, get ready to witness a futuristic session on 2021 crushing and screening technology.
Question to Mr. Bezalel. Since you are associated with major highway constructions in the country, for example, currently you are involved in one of the largest expressways in India under construction, that is Mumbai-Delhi Expressway. So, how do you view the aggregate demand in roads and highway projects?
Actually, we done a world record in February 1st and 2nd. 14,000 m³ concrete we laid in 24 hours. So that is it's a great achievement in with our world 18.75 with the power. That is our own power. We engaged with the power mission and we did the records. And more than aggregates is a very challenging task. You know very well, because of 14,000 m³, we are concreting, we are pouring the concrete mean, the type of sand and aggregates and what are the cement we have to do for the micro level planning. Then in our crusher and what are the suppliers and what we are taking from there. Already we started about 2 months back. We take follow-up and sincerely with the micro level planning and continue kick-off meeting with the site team and OEM also. Our great OEM persons who are involving that industry. All we have coordinated with that inventory and what are the spares. If any area we can fail means that the whole achievement will fail. So before that pouring the concrete, 1 week before we all top level, our senior management all inside and continue kick-off meeting and give that individual responsibility and what are the aggregates. Mainly task is the aggregates and what we have that stock and what are the and all. We have a clear vision and we achieve the target.
How do you source aggregates for your projects? In fact, you have a lot of projects, big projects.
Actually, in Gujarat, this Mumbai-Vadodara Express Highway, we have our own sister concern pressing units, and we have that previously what is the BOQ before we are giving, and they are producing. And sandblast plant and all we have installed in site itself. And based on that, our requirement to daily production, day and night shift continuity is working, and day-to-day activities we are monitoring, and we are getting the source. And Tamil Nadu and all, we have boulders and all mines, we have subcontractors, and they are feeding boulders to our raw material to our pressure. And we have 250 TPH plants, more than 12 plants are we have. And the cone crushers we have in Rajasthan also same. Each and every state just we are finding out that the source and we install our own plants and we are getting the targets on time.
Sir, with the road construction is on top gear. You know, a lot of road highway construction is picking up. In fact, the road ministry's latest update shows that they have exceeded the target for this year, this just concluded financial year, and then next financial year they are also trying to pick up the speed. So currently it's 34 kilometer per hour per day for a construction of highway. It will go up to 40 kilometer per day. That's the plan, government plan. So there will be a lot of demand for aggregates, which will revive the crushers and screening market. So how important is to handle the growing aggregate demand by technically good and advanced type of machine? What is your comment on this?
In a conventional way, the every kilometers means 12 to 14 kilometer you need a pressure 200 TPH pressure plant. This 200 TPH pressure plant customer says next upgraded their versions to 250 TPH. Similarly, 300 TPH plants they have gone up to 350 TPH plant. So now we have come up with a solution of 250 TPH plant and 350 TPH, which can cater this particular shortfall. So whatever we are telling that it will cover for 35 kilometer, it will cover up to 42 kilometer to 46 kilometer. If you go for another 50 to 60 TPH per hour enhancement in production, that can be done in two ways. One way, I can reduce my civil by putting a mobile crusher, and further I can reduce. Suppose I have some margin in my hand, then I can go for wheel-mounted plant as well. So we are having three options. One is stationary plant, which goes for a massive civil work and time consuming. If you go for more than 350, 400 TPS plant, catering for 150 TP, 150 kilometer and above, that type you can go for 350 and above for stationary. If you are going for fast track basis, immediately, instantly you need GSB within a 15 days, 20 days, in a month or two, you have to deliver 2 lakh tons of aggregates or 2 lakh tons of GSB. Now instantly you are having a solution just like a saline, that is a mobile plant. Today it will be cash and carry business like that. You can come, take this machine, put it in the next day in the operations, and you can get your output immediately. In between, if you are fast track and there is a massive civil, in between third one is wheel plant, which it will be neither a stationary nor a 100% mobile track, which can give you intermediate inputs. So there is three different applications are available based on the customer requirement. And if you are having a power supply, you can directly go for fixed shaft cone or floating shaft cone based on the requirement. When there is a power issues is there, we prefer go for the next advanced versions of cone person, which we call as QM cone, or normally in this industry they know it as a HP cone, high performance cone in metro language. Which we are the only person in India who makes this particular machines. Nobody else has developed so far, and we are having a good experience in that one, and it gives a good product, good productions, and safe. And it's give a power consumptions, minimum power consumptions. So safe, size, production we can enhance with a single cone crushers. That will going to absolute year 3 stage instead of 3 stages. You can compromise with a minor flakiness elongations. Then you can go for a 2-stage plant, which can cater to this particular special made design.
Which is going to help. What kind of challenges you also see in this area to observe this technology enhancements and put it into results?
The challenges are many as such, because our crushers, the Hazmat design crushers, are a paradigm shift basically from the existing supplies which have been there for the last 30-40 years, and particularly those people who have actually used those old crushers, they had a tremendous bad experience about those crushers because of so many issues and failures and like that. Basically, from the hydraulics point of view, or from the operation point of view, from the chain breakage point of view, so a lot of issues have come. So nowadays, people who have not tasted the blood of Hazmat, they initially say, no, we don't want to touch these crushers because they are pretty troublesome. But on the contrary, when we see the client who has used once, or have really studied that crusher in a different site, they don't go back. And very unfortunate, but Indian operators do look for a short-term kind of a plant, or a short-term kind of a equipment which they can amortize between 3 to 5 years time, and then get rid of it. But Hazmac being a German designed machine and a German company, we have the machine built in such a quality that it lasts for 12-15 years without any issue. So there is a cost involved in that 12-15 years machine, vis-a-vis a machine which can serve for 3 to 5 years. So this, if there is a client who looks into a longer horizon, they definitely prefer a machine with that kind of robust build. Otherwise, few people do look for cheaper solutions which can be amortized, or the EMIs can be paid off within 2 to 3 years time, and then just get out of it. So these are the primary challenges what we face in the mining segment. Apart from that, I'll say that if anybody has seen these machines and used these machines, they know the what is German design and what kind of reliability it has, and how can this be super productive, because these does not require any operator, dedicated operator. These are completely PLC controlled. So the manpower cost vis-a-vis the structurals are not required, the hoppers are not required. In case of any uncrushable material which gets into the machine, can be removed without even a blink of an eye. One can just see and take it out.
What kind of environmental challenges you see that, because as a nation we have a lot of areas marked as green zones, and do we have a balanced approach towards quarrying and mining?
A gust of wind is enough to create a nuisance in the atmosphere. So, particularly in a crusher, the dust generation is more basically when the tippers or dumpers are unloading onto the crusher. There are very less dust generation when it is actually crushing. So yes, do customers have where they have installed some kind of a sprinkling system onto the crushing zone, and some of them do also try and carry some wet material in the dump trucks, so that while doing the discharge, it does not create a lot of dust. But in a open cast mining scenario, I do not see that it is controllable. We have to live with it.
Say how this industry is observing technology enhancement or advances, especially in digital technology.
It's all about proving by example, I would say. The acceptability, everybody is reluctant to change. This is human nature. You cannot do anything about it. It's all about proving by example. Supposedly, I want to push in my level sensor that, sir, your production is going to improve and your cost per ton is going to improve. I'll have to prove it to them by proving by example. It's not that just I'll go there and give a presentation and one fine day, he'll wake up and he'll start accepting things. So it is a challenge. It is a challenge. And that's where we come in, because as a salesman, we have been close to the customers. We know what he does. We know what he lives. We know his EMIs. We know his problems and his challenges. So that is for us to push into his mind, and it is a continuous and ongoing process which we have been doing. Like supposedly this hydraulic setting changement to the jaw, it didn't happen overnight. We had an input from the customers that this is happening, and then we started pushing her. Why don't you try it? Why don't you try it? It will solve your problem. So once we proved it, we just we pushed them, just try once, and then now it has become a standard. So it will always be a challenge. Technology acceptation is always a challenge. Like supposedly, if I talk about automation of the plant, which I talked to our panelists and our guest in the live session, I can say, yes, you do the automation in your plant with done with a one person. You can do one thing. The technology has been in line, like say DCS, distributed control systems. You can put in a DCS, you can get your plant optimized, and the plant will give performance over and above its rated capacity. A 200 TPH plant might even give 250 tons per hour. But getting it done, because it is a huge OPEX involved, as Shantanu sir was talking about, this is a problem of acceptance, like they see in the short term. If you see in 3-4 years, this capex of 30-40 lakhs doesn't matter at all. But getting into the line is be a challenge, and we are at in process to accept this challenge, and we are trying to do it, and we are doing it step by step. It won't happen overnight, but it will not take 20 years. It will take within a year or so. You will see most of new technologies coming and talking about this system wherein you can get your product report coming to your mail. Everybody is using an iPhone or a Android phone. You can get it via mail. You don't even need to go to the plant. This is going to be accepted. This is going to be accepted. This will come. Once the OPEX part of it is taken care of, this will come. So that's what I like to add. Why India is lagging behind its technology? See, we started late. If I can be so bold as to say, if you see the roads in the southern part of India, and if you see the roads in eastern part of India, you will find a difference. From Coimbatore to Bangalore, you can travel in 3.5 hours. From Ranchi to Kolkata, it will take you 7 or 8 hours. So there is a thing called the person who has started up early will reach early. So that is the thing. You cannot be comparing our market to the European market. If you go to the European market, you will see that the tracks are the go-to thing. You will see that people are putting up tracks left, right, and center, and you will see most of the track manufacturers are based out of the UK. So I don't see it as a problem. I'll just say that we have started late and we are coming in line. Like supposedly when I started my career, this 150 and 200 TPS plants used to go just like anything. Now I see that 250 and 300 TPS plants are taking up more market share. Like if you see this out of this 3,000 crore crushing and screening market, if you see 200, 250 TPS plants, they capture around 60 to 70% of the market. So I don't think so is a problem because most of the MNCs have come in. Everybody is based out of India. Everything has been Indianized. Make in India is a thing which we don't say just for the sake of saying it. We are doing it. So just bear with us. With companies like us, we are doing whatever we can, and we are putting up technologies in the market at an economical say. I won't say we are cheap. We will be economical.
Yes, and application actually 200 TPH plant. Suppose I am purchasing. When you go for 200 TPH, it will be GSB will be 200 TPH minus 40 or minus 50. The same plant when you go for minus 20, 0 to 20, it will be 50%. If you go for same means 0 to 5, same 200 TPH plant will go to 70 TPH plant. Means it is not a same quantity it is reducing. It is the application wise whether I have selected the right quantity. Suppose I need a 500 TPS plant, but I have put only a 200 TPS plant. That means we have not understood the requirement. Based on that, we have not forecasted. So it is not a sand generation is less. Now we have never optimized that plant to the greater extent. But plant is capable of giving the same output whatever you needed.
Yeah, as a construction firm, really that question is right, because we are facing the problem in sand. Maybe some wastages and handling, and now our new technology has come and we are improving. But the thing is, like aggregate and all, comparatively in aggregate and sand, that wastage percentage also it is that also a factor. And really, as a construction firm, we are facing for the sand. Some new technology has to be improved. Maybe that aggregate and all we have stock, but sand itself, it is a struggling part only due to this handling and most of the thing, some usages and design, dust particles, and when that is really it's a challenging issue only. But now we are improving. And previously compared to 10 years back, definitely it's a very big challenge of sand, because when we are doing for concreting or asphalting, that sand is the main core. And we are mainly focusing, before planning, we are mainly focusing what is the sand stock. If you have a sufficient stock also, when the time of completion also, it will be a shortage for it. That is a real fact. But even though in more productivity, like our new machineries or like our OEM for sand, it is developing, means it is really it is a good for our country, and it will be, because in construction, you know very well, if one crusher and crusher plant is the backbone of the civil construction industry. Once the crusher plant is set, everything will be in fine, and even our project also it will complete on before schedule. If the crusher and sand is a shortage, it's a lifelong headache of total project. all the FAM also, it will be in struggle, everything in there.
Suppose you are having a old plant, you want to enhance your sand production, then you are having three solutions are available. You can add a VSI, vertical shaft impactor, or we are having another solution, a fine cone, which is another less investment will be there. Initial investment will be more, but cost per ton cost per ton will be less. Third option is roll crusher. That is also available for the fines generation. If suppose you want to enhance your fines generation, you can add on. It is just like a top of a package like that. To any crusher plant, you can add on and you can enhance your productivity as well. As you correctly told, Mr. Manor, it will be rehandling charges will be little more because you are stocking once and again you are recrushing for the first stage. When you are initially when you are going for a new plant, please put these inputs to the supplier, any supplier. They can give you options. If you go for the fines, you can go for this particular options. If you don't need, you can bypass that system and run rest of the things. Please specify your requirements as a user end so that the supplier can give you a better solution. It's not open on you. Anybody can. Only thing that we have to understand, and it is not the user end also. When I'm selling my new plant to anybody, I should also understand their end requirement. If I, being a supplier, if I don't understand that what is really they need, then finally we'll come into this, that plant is not performing because they need sand, but I have given aggregate plant. They need aggregate plant, I have given sand plant. So as a supplier also, this is my responsibility to understand their final requirement as an end user.
How our industry is absorbing automation technologies, digitalization, and especially in mining, crushing, and screening segment.
Yeah, I mean, there is a huge lot of automation which is available, but the crux or the buck stops at one place. That is the cost. And somebody rightly mentioned, I think Mr. Chandra mentioned about the long run and a short run kind of a thing. Yeah, if you definitely look at a long run or look at cost per ton or cost per cubic meter, due amortization of an equipment over its life, everything comes very rosy. But you are breaking that chain in a way where you are trying to amortize it in 2 years time or 3 years time, or you don't want to put an initial investment. So somewhere the chain is getting broken. So automations are definitely fantastic. Automations have come. Remote monitoring and remote operation also is available today, and we have the technology. We have given it across the globe to people who value that. But in India, yes, very true that it's little early that we are here, but time will tell that these are going to be the in thing in the market in future.
Yeah, that is great. Also, can you share, like Mr. Jayanta already shared about how his a range of equipments and solutions are moving towards electrical, solutions and or hybrid solutions. So, can you see how we are approaching towards non-fossil fuels, especially in crushing screening segment?
Yeah, more or less, our crushings are dominantly electrical driven crushers, and we do have some models which are mobile models, which with diesel engine driven kind of a thing. But yeah, 99.99% crushers are electrical driven. So we are not actually touching any other fuel as such to do this. Second thing that we have done away with hydraulics in our crushers. We are completely electromechanical, and there is no hydraulics involved in the entire machine. That also leaves us with a good part that disposal of hydraulics when you are changing is either you are contaminating the motherland, or you are doing it a proper disposal. If you want to do a proper disposal, it's going to be a ruckus in a mining situation or a construction situation. it's going to be a ruckus for you. But if you are just spoiling the motherland, then you are just doing the harm. Specific.
So do you think that it is going to be a trend?
Trend in the sense where the electromechanical things do have their own advantages as well as disadvantages. Let me, as a technocrat, I will not defend that our machine is the machine which is of no defects. No, definitely electromechanical's advantages are there, but at the same time hydraulic advantages are also there. But definitely when you are using a hydraulic, then you have to know the policy procedures of using that hydraulic properly, and not to harm the environment as such by disposing it wrongly.
Mobile industry, it is diesel fuel is the best, I think. So in stationary crushers and all, yeah, we will go for electrical. And mobile also, it is electrical, it is moving. But due to this dust and all, maybe it may cause us some frequent failures. It may, I don't know that OEM, how they are answering, I don't know. But in the chances is there. We in that automation, because already crusher and all, we will in dusty area, and all bolters are crushing, and usages our operator and using time, maybe some not like our hydraulic solution and all, it can easily, it can work. But this electrical, it is a challenge. I don't know what their OEM recommending it.
Is there any end users to slurry, ultrafine from sand washing?
Ultrafine, it just creates a muck, and as of now, you won't find any profitable use for this.
So yes, we have touched base on a lot of good topics, because I was definitely got a nice insight about the aggregate crushing and the sand and kind of thing, which we are not really focusing today. But definitely from Jayanta or from Mr. Bezel, I would like to understand about the cost per ton or the cost per cubic meter, what kind of, so we can touch base on that on a separate platform, or, one-to-one basis, and understand that. But yes, I understand that the construction segment is doing a little good and picking up at a rapid pace. But I'm yet to see any kind of a movement in the mining. Probably with the advancement of these private mining auction, probably we see a larger market and do good.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for us to put forward our views. And really thank you for the Manohar, who has experienced his practical applications. Mr. Santanu has really put it into those whole areas, which is new to us, which we have to again go and explore those areas. And Mr. Anubhav Chandra, he has also expressed his views regarding automations.
Yes, thank you so much for this platform. It's a meeting of minds, and when the mind meets, something comes out. So hopefully in the near future, something will change in the market. So let's hoping to that, and cheers to your support, and cheers to all the panelists who have made this time in the middle of the day to attend this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, panelists, for exchanging your valuable thoughts on today's topic, 2021 Innovations in Crushing and Screening Technology. Delegates, we hope you have enjoyed it. Before wrapping up today's session, we would like to thank our distinguished panelists, Mr. J. Bezalil Manohar, Mr. Jayanta Pradhan, Mr. Shantanu Banerjee, and Mr. Anubhav Chandra. I would also like to thank my editor, Mr. Prasad Nayak, for taking this initiative. Thanks to all the delegates and viewers.